growth will create grief. Yep, that's it. That's the secret. Growth will create grief. And I say this from personal experience, and I say it by way of observation. A lot of my clients right now, they are experiencing this and they're surprised. And I'm not really surprised because I know that it is a part of their growth process. So I figure if they're experiencing it and they're surprised, chances are that you may be experiencing it and you're surprised. So it's time to let the cat out of the bag, understand what's really going on, normalize, and give you some tools on how you can move through this. My name is Heather Patterson. If we haven't met yet, I work with entrepreneurs and their teams. I help them believe in themselves, believe in each other, understand things like this, right? So they can grow their business and grow their life. I'm so glad that you are here. Let's dive in a bit further. All right, so my clients, they are experiencing such amazing growth right now. I mean, I have people who are hiring employees, they are getting new designations, they're changing their business models, they are like maturing in their systems and their processes, they are engaging in new relationships with different vendors, they're acquiring other customers. I mean, you name it, it is all so good and so exciting. And like a lot of positive feelings are associated with their growth. Primarily around like excitement and realization, right? They've been thinking of it for so long and now it is coming to fruition. And in addition to all of the excitement and the good and the fun and woohoo, there is like this dark side that really like is a bit of a secret. I don't hear a lot of people talking about this. While there are some other feelings as it relates to the dark side of growth, specifically what I want to address with you today is with regard to sorrow and grief. Like I said, the clients are like surprised. It's almost like they're like, what is happening? You know, and maybe you've experienced that too. Well, it might be surprising because maybe they haven't experienced this level of growth before. However, from my point of view, having helped hundreds of people, you know, go through their own personal transformations in business and life, right? It's very, very normal for me to see this and go, yep, okay, yeah, we knew this was coming. So let me help you understand why it's so normal. And I'm going to use a hypothetical example. Say, for example, your goal is to grow your profitability by 50%. Okay, you want to grow it by 50%. And so everything that you have used up until this point, right, has been useful and necessary. Every tool, every system, every process, every tactic, right? And if you are in particular the entrepreneur and the person who helped birth this idea and create the system and create the process and create the relationship and on and on and on, right? It is a part of you. So for my clients that are experiencing this, the tools, the systems, the processes, the relationships, even the thinking, the way in which they're thinking is because it's been with them for so long, it's a part of them. They have identified with it, right? It is an extension of them, right? So think about that, especially as it relates to the entrepreneur. And if you are not the entrepreneur and you're listening to this, I want you to consider the empathy side of this message of, oh, is that why they're so distraught? That, you know, they're in a grieving process. Maybe you're witnessing someone experiencing this. But for you, if you're the entrepreneur, right, which is who I primarily talked with, no wonder, like you created it. It's like your child. But here's what's crazy, and it's not crazy, okay? But here's just like what happens. So here you are, you have this business that's profitable, right? And you have this goal to grow that profitability by 50%. So you're looking at, say this is the goal, and you're looking at the goal, and you and the goal, like, you're connected to the goal of requirement, and you and the goal, you're chatting, and the goal's like, hey man, you're gonna have to do something different. You're not able to do this process or use this system or this service or this relationship, this employee or vendor, or this messaging, whatever it might be, right, isn't working anymore. In order for you to get this, grow my profitability by 50%, something's got to change. So you're looking at that and you're like, what? But I've worked so hard. This has worked for so long. Like, what do you mean I got to give it up? Right? And it can be really challenging because, well, you created it. It's your process, your system, your relationship, your whatever it is. It's a part of you. And when the goal is saying, no, ain't gonna work anymore, that is causing you to create some distance. To say, oh, this thing that's inside of me now has to go away. Right? Has to move, has to be purged, has to be let go, whatever word you want to use, right? And so if you're following me, like you're following me, right? Yes, okay? If not, go rewind, okay? If you're following me, what you'll see is this whatever it is, right? System, process, relationship, I mean, you name it. That's a part of me I now am separating from. It is a separation, a transformation of your identity. It's no surprise that you would have some grief associated with that. We grieve. That's part of the human experience. Knowing that a grieving process exists inside of personal growth may be all that you need to hear, right? It just like validation and like normalizing, oh my gosh, this is a thing and it's real. Like I thought I was the only one. That may support you right now. And I certainly hope that it does. And for some of you, you need a little more, right? You need to know like, what do I do about it? So if that's the case for you, I'm going to unpack this a bit further. So hang in there with me. So like I said, part of the human experience is grief in some sense or another. And so consider this as a grieving process, this process, system, relationship, approach, way of thinking, strategy, tactic, whatever it is that you're identifying with that you now have to let go of. Think of it as a grieving process. Maybe you're in denial. Like how many people or how many times have you or someone you know had their head in the sand going like, this is the way that we've always done it. Right? That's what that sounds like. Or maybe there's anger and frustration, like kind of getting angry and upset, like, oh, I don't want to change. I'm comfortable and I'm safe or whatever it might be. Or perhaps then there's even a depression that can form. Right? Especially if you are unsure how to move through these things and you get consumed with the worry and the doubt and the fear that comes with this sort of thing. For sure, it can impact your energy. And then maybe there are times of acceptance, right? Of like, okay, this is what the goal says. Like it says, I've got to change and this isn't useful or necessary for me in getting there. So, all right, I accept what is. I'm going for it. Right? And then there's points of absolute gratitude and unconditional love, right? Oh my gosh, I'm so thankful for who I am and my journey and where I've been and so on and so forth. And here we are moving into the next. And listen, like grief, it's unpredictable and it is a process that is non-linear. You may experience all of those feelings in an hour, in 5 minutes, right? Or it might be a cycle and a swirling of some of that over weeks, over a quarter, over the course of a year, right? There's really not a predicting of it. I can, though, help you in the moving through to a certain degree, right? I can't predict. Remember, check out Law of Gestation, my last conversation with you. around, the time in which, things come to fruition, right? But understand that there's a whole series of emotions that you're going to experience. Whenever we're in pursuit of a goal or an achievement, even an experience, right? Something different, a transformation, it's going to require us to be reflective and think about the, way in which we want to be, what we will need to embody in order for us to get to that next level. Right? And so often with my clients, what I do is we work together just after they set the goal. The conversation is, hey, how do you need to be? Not what do you need to do? These are very different conversations. How do you need to be such that you will achieve what you want to achieve, that you will have what you want to have, that you will experience what you want to experience? What I have them do and what I encourage you to do is to really give that some thought. Use your mental faculties, your logic, your imagination, right? To think about how it is that you need to be. From there, you want to write it down and you want to have this in a place that you can reference it and refer to it on a regular basis, right? Because it's not your current state of being, it will take significant intention. Maybe that means that you will be bold, or you will be courageous, or you will be creative, which I was about to allow to flow out. Or maybe it means that you will be disciplined, or you will be connected, or you will be discerning and shrewd. Maybe it means that you will be conservative. For some, it means that you will be risky, right? So how will you need to be to get to your next level? It is imperative for you to consider that. I advise my clients to take this step and really think about this on the onset of setting their goal. But listen, if you're right in the middle of a goal and you haven't given this thought, it's okay. Just pause and go through that exercise now so that you can refer back to it. It is a compass or a guidepost of sorts to support you in achieving your goal. In fact, for some of you, if you really haven't done this exercise, it's going to add some fuel, right? It's going to propel you, because if you haven't changed your state of being to match how you need to be in order to achieve that goal, well, then doing so is just going to propel you further. Before I go, I have to make mention. I talked about this in the context of business, yet it is still applicable as it relates to life. Think about major life transitions that you've experienced or you've watched other people experience. Things like changing a job or relocating to a different city, or the loss of a loved one, or the birth of a loved one, ending a relationship, starting a relationship. Even your physical mobility and ability will change over time, which all is related to our identity. And as that identity continues to be dynamic and grow and evolve, you will need to let go of, to release, to purge, to put aside, right, parts of you that were useful then that are no longer useful. I know for me personally, I have transitioned from being single to coupled, from having no kids to having 2 kids half the time, right? That has created significant adjustment for me and my being, right? It was all aligned to my goals and certainly things that I have wanted, right? And still want. And yet there was also, and continues to be from time to time, a grieving process, all in the good name of growth. What about for you? Are you experiencing grief as it relates to growth? If you are, and you'd be so brave, leave a comment. I really believe that when you or we open up about this sort of thing and we talk about it, we normalize and we help other people out. And listen, maybe you're not, but you know someone who is experiencing grief as a result of growth. If you think that this video would be useful to them, I encourage you to press the share button and pass it along. All right, remember to subscribe if you aren't already, and I will see you next time.